Okay, hello, it's me Stephen again, and this is my task of listening comparison. Now check it out. Okay, so here's the job. Man sitting on the veranda with his wife one night when out of the blue he says, "I love you." His wife says, "Wife, was that you or was that the beer talking?" The man says, "That was me talking to the beer. Maybe you found that funny. I find it hysterical." What makes a joke funny is a question that can be based on the human condition since we lost our tails and start walking upright. But can scientists tell us today why we laugh? Scott Williams is a cognitive neuroscience and the author of the book The Science of When We Laugh and Why. And he joined us from Member Stadium Choir in Little Rock, Arkansas. Thanks for being with us, Scott Williams. Thank you very much for having me. Tell me a joke and let's break it down a little bit, would you? Sure. I should warn you though, as a scientist, I'm not trained very well to tell jokes, but I'll do my best. Alright. So a dog walks in a telegraph office and he says, "I want to send a message." And the operator says, "Sure, what would you like to send?" And the dog says, "Woof, woof, 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 woof." And the operator paused a second and goes, "You know that only 9. You can send a 10 woof for free." And the dog replies, "But that would make no sense. People never laugh when I tell a joke." Thank you. I wouldn't hold it against you if you didn't. Alright, I'm kind of getting my comedy writing sketch part here. But your neuroscience, what makes it funny? There is one part of the brain that's worth recognizing and is called the anterior cingulate. It's not on the surface. It's a little below and is what we consider our conflict detector. Mhm. Anytime we're confused and we're overwhelmed, or just we have conflicting information like in the form of a surprising punchline, this area gets very active. Why is it important in joke? It's basically how we process things we didn't understand. I mean, so much of our life is filled with conflict, and not just joke. I mean, people laugh at a funeral, people laugh at tragic event, and it's because these are times when we just don't know how to else to respond. I mean, humor is much broader than a just stand-up routine. It's just how we look at the moments in the life where things don't make sense. So laughter is coping, bonding, lessening anxiety, and the sense of discovery surprise. All these things. It is, and I think that why it's so linked with health benefits as well. Now, humor hasn't always been looked up so positively. You write that Plato and Jesus weren't funny. No, I mean it's really a shame. Historically, humor has not gotten a good rap. Someone actually counted the phone number of times that laughter occurred in the Old Testament. The total number is 29, and of these only 2 are positive. In other words, only 2 are occasion of joy. Well, there's a debate now whatever Jesus loved, not just in the New Testament, but in his whole life. And of course, Plato, Hobbes, Nietzsche, the scholars have the very negative view towards humor, as they saw it as something that would weak minds did. It's not something that serious people do. Do you think men and women tell jokes differently? They do. It turns out that women laugh more than men, but they're much less successful in the world of comedy, or at least there were fewer professional female comedians, which is a shame. And people have wondered why is this because it certainly not had women have fields of sense of humor. And one evolutionary theory is that the men are raised and maybe even have evolutionary benefit of being the funny people in a relationship. Women make women laugh because it's a sign of genetic fitness. A man who can say his partner laugh is more likely to be intelligent and good caregiver. And that's also why women consistently Red sense of humor as number one desired trait in mate. For men, sometimes it's closer to number three, after intelligence and good looks. So women maybe are given the benefits and the encouragement to be as funny as they could or should be. You want to leave us with one last joke? Oh, my. Okay, I have bad success with English the past, but I will give it a try. Two fish are swimming in the tank, and one looks at the other and he says, "Do you know how to drive this thing?" Scott Williams is a cognitive neuroscience and the author of The Science of When We Laugh and Why. He joined us from River Rock, Arkansas. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for having me. So that's the part one, and we go to the part two. So this is the part two. That. Uh, what? Uh, the movie is over. You slept through the past best part. Huh? I must have dozed off during the last few minutes. Right. You were gone for so long, you should have broke your pillow and blanket. So, what did you think about it? Well, overall, I'm a little disappointed with the movie. I mean, the story was a little bizarre. You have to admit. I mean, really, how believe is a plot about a captain who navigates a spaceship to far reach the galaxy and encounters a race of frog people. I mean, come on. Uh, I thought it was fantastic. Uh, I mean, you have to admit that the special effects were awesome, and the acting wasn't bad either. Come on. What about the ship communication officer? I mean, what did you think about him? Well, wasn't he a little weird to you? He was always talking to himself, and he had funny hairdo. Well, he was a little unusual. Yeah. But ship doctor was amazing. It was so cool when he brought the captain back to life during one of the battles. It was pretty realistic, but then the movie just went from bad to worse, and the photograph was so fake. How do you know? You were snoring so loud, neighbor probably had to close the windows. It was not bad. Well, let's go to bed. So that's the part two. Now let's get to the part three. So this is the part three. It was a dreary night of November that I beheld the accomplice of my toils. With an anxiety that almost amounted to agony collect the instrument of life around me, that I might infuse a spark of being into the lifeless thing that lay at my feet. It was already 1 in the morning, the rain pattered dismally against the panes, and my candle was nearly burned out, when by the glimmer of the half-extinguished light, I saw the dull yellow eye of the creature open. It breathed hard, and convulsive motion agitated its limbs. How can I describe my emotion at this catastrophe? Or how that the word womb is such infinite pains and care. I had a growth to form. His limbs were in proportion, and I had selected his feature as beautiful, great God. His yellow skin scarcely covered the warp of muscle and arteries beneath. His hair was a lustrous black, and following his teeth a pearly whiteness, but his luxurious only formed a more horrid contrast with his watery eyes, that seemed almost of the same color as the dun white socks in which they were set. His hair flat complexion and extract black lips. The different accidents of life are not so changeable as the thing of human nature. I have worked hard for nearly 2 years for the sole purpose of infusing life into an inanimate body. For this I had deprived myself of rest and health. I had desired with an ardor that exceeded moderation, but now I have finished and beauty of dream vanished. And breathless horror this what filled my heart, unable to endure the aspect of being I had created. I rushed out of room. So that's all the part, and thank you for the attention.